Are we broadcasting?
We're broadcasting. I see 15, 16, 17 people in the audience. I see Amanda Silva.
Amazing. Well, welcome. As everybody is filtering into the room, let's use the chat function. So hover your mouse over the bottom, go to the chat, and put in where you're calling in from. We want to see where everyone's at. NYC, all right. Cleveland, Boston, Cambridge, Ohio, Beantown, represent. I love it. Some more NYC, Israel, wow. Texas, Rio, Canada, England. This is incredible. So we're just going to get started in a few minutes. We have a lot in store for you guys today. We just want to make sure that everybody gets into the chat, into Zoom, and then we'll get going. New Jersey. Lauren, how are we doing on attendees?
We've got 42.
All right. We have well over 100 attendees today, so we're going to give it a little bit more time before we start. If you guys missed out in the beginning, if you could just use the chat feature, put in where you're calling in from. Kansas, all right. All right, so why don't we get started? I want to welcome all of you here this afternoon. Today we are celebrating 6 years of the Samira Foundation. My name is Gaetano Morello. I am one of your hosts this afternoon, and I have personally been involved with the Samira Foundation since it began 6 years ago. I met Samira at Boston University. We are longtime friends, and I've always been such a huge supporter in anything that she is up to. But in addition to that, you know, I personally understand how these neurological diseases affect patients and their families. Over 15 years ago, my mother was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And at that time, very little was known about the disease. And I've personally seen how much progress has been made over the last 15 years. And for that reason, I am in support and giving to any organization that champions the research and funding of rare neurological diseases, which the Samira Foundation does so well for NMO, MOG, and other rare diseases. So that's my connection to the organization. I want to take a moment just to thank everybody for taking some time out of their Saturday to be with us today. I know that we had a big gala planned for this year, but you know, one of the blessings of this being a virtual platform is that we get to have people come and join us from all over the world. So I'm truly grateful for you all being here. And without further ado, I want to introduce my lovely co-host, Lauren Michaels.
Thank you, Gaetano. What a lovely introduction. For my introduction to the organization, Gaetano, actually, Samira and myself have known each other for almost over 15 years. We all went to Boston University together. And I have to say, today, and just in general, I'm a very proud friend. About 6 years ago, when we were 25 years old, feeling very ignorantly invincible, primarily about our health, I got a confused, upset, overwhelming call from Samira when she first started experiencing symptoms that we now know are associated with neuromyelitis optica. You know, over time, actually, very quickly from the hospital, Samira poured all of that confusion and anxiety and energy into what is now a force to be reckoned with and really having global reach, which is the Samira Foundation for NMO. Our mission is to raise awareness and fundraise to further research and to build a community of patients, build a community for patients and their caregivers. And we hope that today and everything we do delivers on that mission. And by joining us today, you certainly help us achieve that goal. Before we start, we just wanted to take a second to thank our sponsors for their generosity in supporting us today and the research that we continue to do throughout the program to illuminate the darkness of neuromyelitis optica, Viela Bio and Marsh McLennan Agency. Thank you so much for your generosity. And now I am very honored to introduce my lifelong friend, NMO patient, and founder of this organization, Samira Ahmed.
Thank you for such a warm welcome, Gaetano and Lauren. I love you both very much, and having you both as the co-hosts of this virtual event is really, really special. And to everyone else, thank you for joining Celebrating 6 Years of TSF. We are so thrilled to have you all here from all over the world, as we heard. This event would not be possible without the support of all of you, so we are very, very grateful. For those of you who do not know, the Samira Foundation raises awareness for NMOSD and MOG-AD. NMOSD stands for neuromyelitis optica spectrum disorder, and MOG-AD stands for, you ready? It's a mouthful, myelin oligodendrocyte glycoprotein antibody associated disorder. Didn't mess that one up. Both are rare autoimmune diseases that affect the central nervous system that TSF is dedicated to raising awareness for and finding cures for. When I first got sick 6 years ago, I truly believed that my life was over. And now in hindsight, I believe that getting sick with NMO was maybe the biggest blessing of my life, and that's thanks to this organization. This foundation has given me so much purpose and meaning as a person, and I could not be honored to advocate on behalf of such an inspiring community. We are small, but we are mighty. Over the last 6 years, we have watched this foundation grow from a small organization with big dreams to an international nonprofit organization, raising awareness, funding research, and building a global network and movement featuring patients, caregivers, clinicians, and researchers. It's been a journey filled with lessons and experiences. There is so much heart and soul behind the scenes at TSF, and I couldn't feel luckier to have built this with my nearest and dearest. To all the patients who are joining us today, you have mine and our word as an organization that we will never stop working until we find a cure. Our growth and success would not be possible without TSF's board, our ambassadors, donors, partners, and of course you. So thank you. It is my utmost pleasure to now introduce you all to TSF's Chief Strategy Officer, Melissa Barish. Melissa and I have known each other since 7th grade, and she doesn't like me telling people that, but we've known each other for a very, very long time. She lives and works in New York City in the social impact sector, and she has been an integral part of the growth of this organization. So please join me in welcoming Melissa Barish.
Thank you so much, Samira. I am so excited to spend this time with all of you today. We know that 2020 has been an overwhelming year with a lot of emotions. As an NMO community, we have reached some major milestones with the FDA approval of 3 new therapies. And there's a lot more in between. As a world, we continue to navigate a global pandemic. There's a lot going on these days. So we're all especially happy in these times to bring everyone together here today. At TSF, we have always been a community-driven organization because, as Samira mentioned before, we are one brave and mighty crew. We have the ability to support one another and make a real difference. And that's our intention today. to bring together people from all walks of life, from all of the countries and cities that you've seen in the chat, from all around the world, people who care about NMO and MOG. Before we officially kick off, we'd love to get everyone grounded in this moment. We all come from busy schedules, whether this is our 15th Zoom call today, whether we are homeschooling our kids, whether we are running to and from doctor's appointments, you name it. But the reality is we are all here now. So we're going to take a collective breath before we dive into all of the fun stuff that we're going to be doing today together as a group. So if you feel so inclined, I want everyone for just a moment to close their eyes. Promise, nothing scary is going to happen. Relax your shoulders a little bit. Place your arms by your sides, maybe on your lap. Just get in a comfy position that works well for you. And then let's all take a deep breath in through our nose. Maybe you can take an extra sip of air at the top. And then take a really nice big exhale out through your mouth. Maybe you even make a weird noise. All right, cool. Thanks for indulging me. Hopefully everyone feels relaxed and excited to be here. We definitely are. And it is my pleasure to introduce TSF's Chief Community Relations Officer, proud mom of a MOG patient, and an incredible advocate for this whole community, Gabriella Romano.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you all for being here and sharing this day with us. When Sumaira was diagnosed with a mystery disease back in 2014, she got to work from her hospital bed. She created a foundation to raise awareness for NMO, and since that time, the organization has evolved so that it now works to raise awareness, education, community, and research. From its hospital bed beginnings and a small group of volunteers in Boston, we are now a foundation that counts on ambassadors across the nation and indeed the world. All of us are working to raise awareness, education, community, and raise funds for research, as I said. I want to highlight two efforts of the foundation. One, I started 5 years ago to have March declared as NMO Awareness Month. Last year, 35 states made that declaration, and we are working to have a national proclamation created. Second is our Voices of NMO initiative, in which patients, caregivers, and professionals tell their personal stories of how NMO or MOG has impacted them. And to date, we have over 90 stories published. Most of us are here because we've had personal experience with NMO spectrum disorder. Most of us, except the exceptional group of physicians who lend their expertise and wisdom to the Sumaira Foundation. It is my honor today to introduce to you one such physician, although he needs no introduction in the NMO community, because there he is already a rock star. Dr. Michael Levy was educated at the University of Pennsylvania and the Baylor College of Medicine. He spent many years working at Johns Hopkins Hospital until he was recruited, luckily for us, to Mass General Hospital, where he, along with Dr. Marcelo Mattiello, created, among other initiatives, the NMO Clinic and Research Laboratory. Dr. Levy has more publications than probably most of us can even count. He is brilliant, kind, fun, and beloved, not only among his patients, but also in the NMO world at large, because he so generously gives of his time and expertise. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Anthony Fauci of rare neuroimmune diseases, Dr. Michael Levy.
Gabriella, that was too kind. I'm afraid my head is not going to fit in this box anymore because of this. You're flattering me too much, but thank you. That was a very kind introduction. And I'm honored to be part of this foundation now. I joined just last year when I moved up here. And, I've been involved with NMO research for a very long time, since Marcelo and I were fellows back in more than 10 years ago already. And back then, it was just a few of us in the room when we would have conferences about NMO, and nobody seemed to take much interest in it. But with hard work and good science, we got the attention of pharmaceutical companies, and now 10 years later, we have 3 FDA-approved drugs. And that's in the aquaporin 4 group. We still have a lot of work to do in the MOG group. And the most important research, I think, that's still unmet is in 2 additional areas. One is in the remyelination and recovery, because while I could talk till I'm blue in the face about all the wonderful drugs we have now, my patients will still say, well, how are you going to get me out of this wheelchair? And none of the drugs that have been approved will do that. So that area of regeneration is so important. And the other area is in tolerization. This is the idea that you can re-educate the immune system so that the immune system doesn't want to attack aquaporin 4 or MOG or whatever it's attacking. So this re-education process might ultimately allow you one day to come off of your treatments. So much work to be done. And I'm grateful that the Mass General labs have now reopened after the COVID shutdowns. We are back at work and doing our best to get this research done. So thank you again for the support. And now I would like to introduce the world premiere of the Sumaira Foundation video. This is a 3-minute flick. And I'm hoping we'll be able to launch it very shortly. And then stay tuned afterwards for some more comments. Thank you so much again.
In 2014, when I was just 25 years old, I suddenly lost vision. I also lost feeling in my extremities, like my fingers and my toes. I was soon diagnosed with neuromyelitis optica.
She had never heard of this disease. Nobody she knew had ever heard of this disease. And so she began to work to raise awareness, visibility, and accelerate funding for research into this disease.
My name is Sumaira, and I am the founder and executive director of the Sumaira Foundation for NMO.
Neuromyelitis optica is an autoimmune disease that causes inflammation of the optic nerves and spinal cord, leading to blindness and paralysis.
Over the last 5 years, our foundation has been dedicated to illuminating the darkness of neuromyelitis optica. We believe that by raising global awareness, we'll be able to find a cure and create a community of support for the patients, families, and caregivers who are impacted by NMO.
Currently, we have 20 ambassadors in 17 states and 3 countries.
And we look forward to expanding this program to include all 50 states.
Hi, I'm Tammy Freeman, TSF Ambassador from the state of Michigan.
I'm Nicole McLeod, TSF Ambassador for New York State.
I am the South African Ambassador for the Sumaira Foundation.
And I live on the beautiful west coast of British Columbia, Canada.
Being diagnosed with NMO changed my life completely.
I went blind and paralyzed from my neck down 5 years ago from this, but have recovered mobility.
Losing my vision, sensation, and mobility has made me aware of just how vulnerable that I am.
No one had ever heard of this disease, and everything I read led me to believe that I was only going to get worse.
Thankfully, that loneliness led me to Sumaira and her army of amazing ambassadors.
I'm looking forward to working with Sumaira and all the TSF ambassadors.
I have made it my passion to get awareness out so no one has to go through what I had to go through.
I hope that we can encourage doctors to go out there and get more education on this disease.
I know that there is somebody out there that would be intrigued enough to find that cure.
In 2020, we're excited to say that we'll be funding up to $100,000 for research into NMO.
We don't know why people get NMO, but with your help, we've been making progress in the laboratory, understanding the causes and pathways of the disease.
Our foundation has grown and been able to shed light on neuromyelitis optica while empowering this community.
To me, TSF means hope.
It means a way that I can connect with others like me to let them know they're not alone on this journey.
Having a community that actually understands what I'm going through.
I can continue to be an advocate
for both patients and caregivers in the NMO and MOG community.
And it has been incredible to see the research community and the patient community grow and come together.
I want people to know that I can still be a mother, a wife, a sister, a daughter, and still fight this crazy rare disease called NMO.
And I can help other people to understand we will fight this disease. It's not hopeless, and they're not alone.
I get to share the beauty of what life is, even as a person that's living with NMO.
Over the past 5 years, we've worked to gain the support of medical professionals, patients, caregivers, and their families.
Together, we are all playing a role in helping to find a cure for NMO.
We need your help to raise awareness, to raise funds, and to support patients and their families.
Join us to illuminate the darkness.
Wow, what an incredible video, and thank you for sharing that with us. It does such a beautiful job of showcasing all of the amazing work that takes place within the Samira Foundation. So now I would just like to encourage everybody to use the chat one more time and put into the chat one word that came up for them after watching that video. My word is hope. Heartwarming, inspiring, empowering, community. Beautiful. Now I would just like to take a moment and give everyone an opportunity to support the Samira Foundation. As Dr. Levy said, a lot of research has been done, but there is still so much work to do. And it isn't without your outpouring of generosity and support that the Samira Foundation would be where it is today. So we've made it very easy for you. If you take out your smartphone here and open up your camera app, I'm sure some of you are used to doing this if you've seen a menu anywhere recently, but put it right at the QR code, which will lead you directly to the donation page on the TSF website, where you can make a donation. Any donation, big or small, is so appreciated. So thank you so much. There's also a link right here, the website that you can visit, and there should also be a text going to you from GiveSmart. So there are many ways to access the donation page. Now, I would like to take a moment to introduce you to an incredible doctor who we are all so grateful for dedicating his research, his career to fighting NMO and MOG and these rare neurological diseases. His name is Dr. Marcelo Mattiello, an assistant professor of neurology at Harvard Medical School and a member of the Division of Neuroimmunology of Comprehensive Neurology at Massachusetts General Hospital. Dr. Mattiello is the Director of Inpatient Services at MGH and Director of Teleneurology Program. He is also the Associate Director of the NMO Clinic and Research Laboratory. So I'd like to turn it over now to you, Dr. Mattiello.
Thank you, Gaetano. I hope we are recording this because I would love to show to my mom. She would be so proud of such a kind and generous introduction. A few minutes ago, before we started this, Samira and I were texting. And as we were preparing for this hour, she was saying, oh, I'm nervous, I'm excited, I'm nervous, excited, all together. And I thought to myself, is there really a reason to be nervous about getting this right? We have done this so many times, so many Zoom calls, virtual visits, and we have lectured in many places. All of us have experience. And I realized that we have 100,000 reasons to be excited and to make sure we do this right. Every dollar that the Samira Foundation gives out for grants, it's not simple to get. You know, we all work hard, we ask friends, we go to the events, we write checks, And I can guarantee you that all the dollars that go through this are helping. They're helping make the catalyst reaction that brings all us together to better diagnosis, better understanding of this condition, NMO and MOG, and also gets us closer to a cure, to better treatments, to a day and age that we can do other things than worry about NMO or MOG disease. It's my great pleasure to announce the 4 grant winners of the Spark Foundation, the Spark Sumaira Foundation grants. It was my pleasure to help this committee to choose the best 4 proposals out of many absolutely excellent proposals. In the Sumaira Foundation, the grant committee is different than most of the other funding sources. Half of the team is of scientific background, a clinical background, doctors that see a lot of NMO patients, MOG patients, and know the science. And half of the committee is a representative of the patient side, either patient themselves or a family member of the patients. The grant committee goes over 11 different criteria, ranging from the merit of the proposal, the scientific ideas, how creative, how diverse, if it includes diverse communities and populations, and also if it's answering a question that the NMO patients want answered, not to focus solely on a biological aspect, but really to move forward with the science. So without further ado, I ask everybody to pay close attention to the following grants. This is an upgrade from what the Sumaira Foundation did in the past. As you see, the foundation funded 4 different investigators in the past, but we are doubling the number by 1 year, and even each grant of $25,000 is going to help the scientists do their work very successfully. So the first grant that we will announce is, do we have a soundtrack here? It's called the Autoantibodies in NMOSD, and the primary investigator, the principal investigator, is Jonathan Galley from the University of Utah. Is Jonathan in the call? If not, the committee found that this grant was really creative and a different approach by looking into a large populations of people to see whether they harbor the antibody before even developing symptoms of NMO. They're going to look into a large cohort of people that have stored blood samples and research even the past blood samples if they had any antibodies leading to NMO. So that has never been done in this scale, and we are very happy to fund a grant from the University of Utah that is well known by its excellence.
Dr. Mattiello, actually Dr. Stacy Clardy, his co-PI, is on the chat if we can allow her to say a couple of words.
I just allowed her to, promoted her so she can speak.
Dr. Clardy, are you here? How do we do that? Oh, there she is.
Yeah, that was kind of magical. Popped up on there. Thank you. This is incredible. JJ is with his somewhat sick little kiddo at the moment, so he didn't want to risk being on camera with that going on. But this is fantastic. We're so excited. This is a long time in the works. Having your support for this project is incredible, and we already have an update for you in that it's been a huge challenge to get this through because we're working with the Department of Defense on this project, and we were able to submit the vetted and verified list of veterans and active duty service members who have NMOSD to the repository yesterday. So it's in their hands, you know, and we'll keep pushing, but it's moving. And so this is perfect timing, and we're incredibly grateful.
Great timing indeed, Stacy. Thank you so much. I know we both trained at Mayo Clinic in different times, but we were impressed with your methodology and the credentials of everybody in your team, and we couldn't be more happy to be able to fund and to support your work on this.
Thank you.
So moving forward to the second Spark grant funded by the Sumaira Foundation, the title is Investigating a Relapse Biomarker for MOG-Associated Disease. And the principal investigator is Dr. Tanuja Chitnis, professor of neurology at the Brigham and Women's Hospital and Harvard University. Tanuja and the team, we were very happy to look through your proposal, and we were indeed surprised with all the creative ideas and how important this is, not only for MOG, but to any demyelinating or any inflammatory disease of the nervous system that lacks a good biomarker to predict and to measure the risk of a relapse. Tanuja, can you tell us in a few words, how do you envision this proposal moving the field forward towards better diagnosis for MOG patients?
First of all, Marcelo, thank you to the Sumaira Foundation, Sumaira, Gabriella, and all of you for all of the amazing work that you do, and to all of my colleagues at the Brigham and Mass General. And also I want to introduce my son, who has always been, and my daughter who's in the background to support. So, you know, this is a very important disease, MOG, antibody-associated disease, and NMO has many shared immunological pathways and phenomenon. And so what we were able to do was to take blood from one patient who was having a relapse, and then at a remission time point, and do a lot of single cell RNA sequencing and identify a biomarker that might be associated with a relapse. And so we're hoping to move this forward and now to test more patients who are either at a relapse or just before a relapse, and see if we can possibly predict and maybe even try to head off someone who is going to have a relapse in these diseases. So thank you again. It's really a pleasure and an honor to be part of this amazing foundation.
Thanks, Tanuja, and thanks for bringing your kids to the call as well. I'm sure they will become brilliant researchers. That's fantastic. Thank you. So the next grant is entitled Diagnostics for NMO, and the principal investigator is Dr. Farah Mateen from the Massachusetts General Hospital. Dr. Mateen will expand her amazing knowledge about the needs for better diagnostics for NMO worldwide in the sense of developing a new methodology to test for antibodies that are present in NMO. Farah, I see that you're here. Thanks for joining. I know that you haven't traveled as much as you usually do. So a lot of times when we get in the calls, you're in a place in Africa, Asia, South America. Farah, tell us about the idea on simplifying the way NMO is diagnosed and how impactful this can be to places that right now have no access to diagnosis through antibody testing.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you very much to the Sumaira Foundation, and Sumaira has always been an inspiration to me with the powerhouse that you are. So what I realized, and I just want to acknowledge that Dr. Levy, Michael Levy, who you've already been introduced to, is a collaborator and co-investigator on the grant. And I just wanted to say that NMO exists everywhere in the world, and to test for NMO, which is a blood test, costs several $100s. And we know that a lot of folks all around the world, they have NMO, but they don't even know they have it, and they can't therefore get the appropriate treatment. And with Dr. Levy and his lab, and with colleagues in Boston, and then eventually, hopefully in low-income settings, we're going to try and use a filter paper to see if you can do a point-of-care blood prick test, put it on a piece of paper, and mail it into a lab, and therefore get a diagnosis, even though you may be in a different country or not have the money to afford the test. And we hope that this is a game changer for people in rural and remote settings, and people who may be living with NMO and not even know they have it. So I want to thank you again. I'm really honored, and we hope to have really great results for everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Farah. We are looking forward to see the results and celebrate the day that indeed the diagnosis is available worldwide. So thank you for the important work. And the very final project that is funded is in the next slide. So a little suspense there. It's called MOG-AD. And the principal investigator is Dr. Michael Levy. You all know him from the Mass General Hospital and his team. And Michael is proposing to study whether the use of statin does help decreasing the inflammation and prevent damage from MOG disease. Michael, tell us about how you came about this idea and what do you hope to accomplish through the funding that is being provided?
The idea here came from studies in mice where the MOG protein might be stimulated by a compound that is made in the cholesterol synthesis pathway. And so we're hoping to interrupt that communication so that the immune system can remain calm. This will be a study in cell culture. We're going to draw patients' blood and culture the cells and expose them to statins and see if there's potential to move this into a human trial. Since statins are generally available in most places, we think that this kind of translational study would be very easy to do.
Excellent, Michael. Thank you so much for all the effort. And again, we're excited and hope to see the results when they become available and share with the community of patients and everyone that helped funding this research. Before I turn back to our hosts, I want to thank everybody that sent their proposals. We had a tough time this year. We were really surprised with the number of proposals and the quality of even the ones that did not get funded in this round, but promising that we will work hard to have other rounds of funding and hoping that the same people will again apply and others will also be inspired by the work that has been done and come with their best ideas and the best chance to move forward with the research. Again, thanks everybody. And now back to you, Lauren and Gaetano.
Thank you for that. And congratulations to you all. We're so appreciative and thankful for all the great work you do to advance our mission and ultimately find a cure for NMO and MOG and associated diseases. I'm going to segue over a little bit to share a little something about Samira that many of you may or may not know. One thing that she's super passionate about is pediatric patients and making sure that they understand that they too can live a fruitful and fulfilling life beyond their diagnosis. And we're going to share a quick video from some of the youngest patients about what they hope to be when they grow up. One moment, this screen share could take a second.
My name is Elijah Maver and I'm 20 years old.
Okay. My name is Elke Lindenmuth. I'm 10, almost 11. And I live in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And I was diagnosed with MOG in March 2020. And I'd like to be an OT because they help me regain strength in my right hand.
And my name is Elijah Maver and I'm 20 years old. I live in Dinuba, California, which is in the Central Valley. So currently I'm attending Reedley College, and when I transfer over to the state, I'd like to continue my education in kinesiology to become a PE teacher and hopefully a baseball coach.
Hi, my name's Claire. I am 7 years old from Hinsdale, Illinois. I want to be a fashion designer or a hairstylist when I grow up.
Hi everybody, my name is Isabella. I am 12 years old.
I was diagnosed with NMO at the age 9. I come from Denver, Colorado, and what I want to be when I grow up is a veterinarian because animals have always inspired me. They're really intelligent, and frankly, they just don't get enough credit as they deserve.
My name is Chelsea Tucker.
How old are you?
I'm 6 years old.
Where do you live?
I live in Kentucky.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be professional soccer player or a astronaut.
That sounds great. Thank you. Bye.
Hi, I'm Virginia Richardson. I'm 12 years old. I live in Franklin, West Virginia, and I want to be an ER doctor when I grow up.
Hi, my name is Agane Lopez. I'm 8 years old, and I live in San Antonio, Texas. What I want to be when I grow up is a vet. Shout out to the Samara Foundation.
So my name is Corey Craig.
My name is Corey Craig.
I'm 3 years old.
3 years old.
And I want to be a doctor when I grow up.
A mermaid and a pumpkin.
And a mermaid and a pumpkin. Say no more NMO.
Hi, my name is Lexi and I live in New Jersey. I was 18 years old when I was first diagnosed with NMO, and when I grow up, I want to research the impact that food has on spinal cord inflammation.
Samira, over to you.
Oh, I was just waiting for the screen to populate. Oh, wow. I don't know about you guys. I am so overwhelmed with joy and emotion and inspiration right now. And as Lauren said, you know, if you know me, I love children. I don't do well with diapers or vomit or any of that, but I love kids so much. And, you know, nothing pains me more than knowing that there are kids going through this horrible disease. So in 2019, TSF launched Giovanni's Unicorn Grant, the first pediatric specific research grant for neuromyelitis optica actually in the world. This named grant was created to honor the life of a young NMO patient who loved unicorns. Hong. With the generosity and support of Ocean Spray and my good friend Christina Fursley, I know you're out there watching, we are excited to continue empowering the young warriors in our community by gifting these adorable plush unicorns this holiday season. There is no catch. If you have an NMO or MOG patient under the age of 13 living in the US and Canada, please email us. We want to make their holiday season just a little bit brighter, and we will send these unicorns. And additionally, these unicorns are available for purchase to the general public. A link should be going out in the chat. Supply is limited. They're so cute. And 100% of all of the proceeds will go directly to fund pediatric NMO research through Giovanni's Unicorn Grant. So definitely head over to the shop and get one while they're still available. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart to everyone here, thank you so much for being here and supporting this event and our cause, and of course for illuminating the future of our young and mighty community. The more that we keep shedding awareness and working together, the brighter their futures will be. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And now back to you, Melissa.
Thanks, Samira. I am so excited to introduce one of our most collaborative partners, the Connor B. Judge Foundation, or CBJF. They are also a 501c3 nonprofit organization which raises awareness and research funds for both neuromyelitis optica and other autoimmune diseases. Their unique mission is to spread understanding of NMO and autoimmunity, implement a stronger approach to its treatment, and create a greater stride towards its cure. The last time I saw Connor, Pam, and Chelsea, Samira and I actually flew to Ohio for one of their events. I think it was in February that we did this, right before COVID hit. I think we can all agree that we miss being able to see our friends from around the country
I will let Connor take it from here.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for having me. Thank you, Samara, for having this event and all that. So yeah, my name's Connor. Back in 2014, I was diagnosed with NMO. It started with eye issues. It started with eye pain, and then my vision slowly started to go. Went to the doctors like 3 times. They really never did much. They thought, they didn't know what it was, but they didn't think anything was seriously wrong. About like a week later, after my last visit to the doctor, I pretty much woke up paralyzed, and then, yep, that was it. But luckily, I have a great support system, great family, I had great doctors and everything. I was able to regain mobility, got my vision back, and things are really good now. I really can't complain. I actually feel very blessed to have the perspective that I was given through that event. So also, I just want to acknowledge and say thank you to all the amazing, powerful women here. There's so many, like, all you ladies, you guys are just so amazing. I just wanted to acknowledge that. So thank you, all of you. And yeah, I'll let my mom speak now.
Hi, everyone. Pam Judge, just a mom from Cleveland. You've heard from my fabulous son who inspired our foundation. And now I will segue to Chelsea, and she'll, our scientific advisor, who'll explain more about our foundation.
Oh, geez. Thanks, Mom. It's nice to have your mom on a call to give you the self-esteem boost you need. Yeah, I'm Connor's sister, and I act as a scientific advisor with the Connor B. Judge Foundation, or I don't know if you can see my shirt, CBJF. We're based in a city in the Midwest, best city in the whole world, Cleveland, Ohio. Like Melissa shared, our mission is to raise awareness and research funds for NMO, in part by promoting and connecting the biomedical research and top-notch healthcare systems in Cleveland to the NMO community. We have our annual fundraisers that Melissa and Sumaira attended before COVID, which have led to significant contributions to Dr. Paul Tesser's lab at Case Western Reserve University studying nerve repair. We're proud to have brought Rare Disease Day to Cleveland, bringing together researchers, clinicians, patients, and advocates to discuss unmet needs of the rare disease communities. We aim to empower patients with credible scientific and medical education so that they can make the best informed shared decisions with their clinicians. Like Sumaira Foundation, which has similar aims and values, we're incredibly grateful for their collaboration. One of our proudest collaborative efforts so far has been the Demystifying NMO podcast, which you see here. Please check us out on TuneIn or iTunes on the Apple iPad podcast app. In this podcast series on all things NMO, TSF and CBJF have created a whole season that ranges from autoimmunity basics, NMO treatments, working through dark feelings, finding gratitude, sex and pregnancy, and more. We're so excited for season 2 and continuing our work with Sumaira Foundation. I'm going to be open and honest. Things are really dark right now. We're supposed to all be present physically together, but instead we're still hunkered down protecting ourselves and each other from a deadly virus. But like Sumaira, we believe in illuminating the darkness of scary things. COVID has amplified everything, including the beauty and strength of this NMO community. We can do hard things. CBJF is honored to be partners with the Sumaira Foundation and be a part of the greater NMOSD community. We're in this together.
Thanks, Chelsea. We love the judges. They're the best family. Thank you so much. And you might all be sitting at home wondering how to get involved. There is so many ways to get involved and support our mission. We will be sending out a great recap of all of the great things that happened today. We'll have a survey in case there are folks sitting at home that want to jump in, whether you want to share your story, get involved in the podcast, be an ambassador, host an event. There are so many things for us to be able to do, and we're super excited to support any of those efforts. We are constantly striving to improve and meet the needs of this awesome community. So also don't be shy about your feedback. We're super excited to do more fun things in the future.
Thank you, Melissa. And I will say thank you, Connor, Chelsea, and Pam, for sharing your story. And Connor, your comment was so sweet. I know everyone on the call appreciates it. Before we wanted to thank our sponsors. In the next phase of the program, we're actually going to break out into breakout rooms so we can have some lighthearted discussion and meet each other face to face. We'll send that link through shortly before Samira says a few words. But thank you all so much for being here. And Samira, I'll let you close us out.
You know, when we decided we were going to do a virtual event, I told our team, which you're all seeing here now, I said, guys, I hate virtual events. I'm so zoomed out. I can't do this anymore. So if we're going to do it, we have to do it really well. And I'm so pleased to say that we made it with our time. Hopefully it wasn't boring. Hopefully we inspired you. And most importantly, hopefully we educated you on something. And I want everyone to leave today's event in 10 minutes feeling great, inspired, and especially to the patients. We are in this together. We will not give up. And thank you for illuminating the darkness of neuromyelitis optica and MOG-AD with us. I used to be so scared of my disease and for everyone else. And now look at this. I mean, with everyone by our side and all of the support, there's no reason for us to be afraid anymore. We are all fighting together. And I have the utmost confidence that we will persevere and come out brighter and better on the other side. So thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, we're going to start the breakout rooms.